You know, if there's one thing in Battlefield 3 that I've tried to get better at, and that's flying the Viper. I think that the Viper is probably the one thing I wish I could master to the fullest because there's so many good chopper pilots out there. Like, I'm not a bad pilot by any means. However, compared to some of these guys out there that can just fly this thing like a madman, I am an amateur. And that's one of the things I've been trying to work on is piloting this. And although I may not get that many kills here at the start, my gunner certainly does work on the other team, which is, in my opinion, what a successful pilot's all about, is making sure your gunner can be to the fullest potential that he has. And but yeah, what's going on, guys, in the works? And we're playing on some Karg Island, because, you know, I promised that I would mix up the maps. I promised you guys that I would not always play the same old game types, and this game right here is actually from that series of games where I was testing out the M27. And if you missed my last video where I talked about the M27, you may want to watch that after the end of this video, because that was a pretty cool video, because the M27 is a weapon that I'm starting to use a lot lately. I'm really starting to find it to be one of the more enjoyable support choices in the game. So yes, with that out of the way, what are we talking about today? You're like, oh, I'm looking at this title and I'm waiting for you to introduce it. But yes, we are talking about Battlefield 3 Premium, and I've waited a little bit till the dust settles to talk about this because obviously there's probably been a billion videos made on the Battlefield 3 subscription model. And I've talked about this in the past, and I think it's probably no secret now that DICE is going to be introducing Battlefield 3 Premium here at the end of the month. And from what I've seen, it's not really going to be that impressive, at least the details we know right now. Basically, you're going to get, extra little goodies that are more aesthetic versus actual DLC. But it's supposed to be coming out on May 4th. So Close Quarters comes out on the 12th for PC and Xbox. It comes out on the 4th for PS3, but on the 4th they also launched the Battlefield 3 Premium. So I'm guessing that it's going to go hand in hand with the release. So PC, Xbox guys might have to wait a little bit before they can actually sign up for Battlefield 3 Premium. Apparently, though, they're going to give you a guide that's going to help you improve your Battlefield 3 game, but I mean, with all the great YouTube channels out there, I don't know why you would need a guide to improve your game. I mean, I guess if, by May, the game would have been out, October? So November, December, January, February, March, April, May, 8 months, and you're finally going to release a guide on how to be good at multiplayer? Seems a little bit, behind the times, but for some reason, EA really thinks that Battlefield 3 is going to have this super long 2-year longevity. So I mean, whatever, if they put out good content, I could see that happening, but they haven't supported it well. So what makes me think they're going to support it any better? Like, I'd be reluctant to pay for a premium service when we can't even get patches every month. We're looking at every 3-4 months for patches with DICE. So kind of skeptical of this whole thing. I mean, apparently this Battlefield Premium will, quote, land you a number of content drops with unique in-game items not available anywhere else. So, that could be a premium knife, a black dog tag, or a set of soldier camos, weapon camos, dog tags, and assignments that will make sure you stand out and get more personalization options. So yes, sounds like a lot of cool things. This is nothing that I don't know, this is just something that I'm not really feeling. Like, I don't think that aesthetics is really what we need. I would rather have more, guns, more maps, stuff like that. But another thing that they've announced is that they're going to be doing a 5th DLC after in-game. So in-game's not going to be the end. It's actually going to be only the beginning, because they're going to release a 5th DLC. At least that's what they've said. Now, I will point out that they've slated a lot of these in the conference calls is where they talked about this. And, business conference calls with video game companies tend to be really misinformed because they focus more on the monetary side of things, whereas the figureheads, like the president and stuff, they focus more on the actual video game portion. Like, so I don't ever trust anything like the CEO says or anything that like the accountant says, because they don't know what they're talking about. All they are talking about is their foreseeable financial income with all these DLCs coming out. So that's one thing that I'm a little bit iffy on. it's funny because, Demise or Alan Kurtz, he went on to Twitter the other day and he was calling out Battlefieldo actually for posting, quote, rumors. And he was like, he thought it was above them to post rumors on a fan site, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But he was basically saying that this Battlefield 3 Premium stuff was a rumor and nothing had been announced yet. But, I think it's pretty safe to say it's all but going to be happening. So that leads me to my question for you guys. Will you buy a Battlefield 3 Premium? And, here's the second part of that question. If you would you buy it if you found out that all you were going to get was, like personalization stuff and like advanced stat keeping? I mean, from what I've seen, Battlefield 3 Premium is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. All it is camos and stuff. And honestly, that doesn't interest me in the slightest. Do you want to know what camo I use on my soldier? I don't know. I use whatever the basic camo is. I have not changed any of the camo on my soldier. And far as dog tags go, I probably use the same dog tags. Like I was using the Mass Effect 3 ones for the longest time until I realized what a crappy game that was after it came out, and I finally switched it to something else. But as far as dog tags go, I don't really care about that either. So they're not really giving us much incentive, at least from what I've seen. Now, this could obviously change, when they officially announce it. I just don't see much incentive to really go out of my way to buy a Battlefield 3 premium service. Now, I say that, but if it turns out to be something that actually gives you DLC, actually gives you some sort of in-game stuff other than, aesthetic value, I will consider it at that point. But I'm not going to pay $15 a month so I can get custom dog tags and stuff like that. That's just kind of ridiculous. So we still don't know if it's going to be subscription based or if it's going to be a one-time fee. If I was a betting man, I would say it'd be some sort of subscription base where you can buy like a whole year for maybe like, I don't know, $40, who knows? We'll see. I'm really curious if maybe they package this with like saying, hey, if you buy this, you can get all the DLCs as soon as they come out. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Battlefield 3 Premium, yay or nay? And I'll see you guys later. Peace.